Even just glancing at the borrowing records gives me flashbacks to how awful that book was. How irritating. I, Madame Faruzan, after all. It's not out of place for me to mull over things out loud, wouldn't you say? But in this case... Never mind, forget about it. Why'd the two of you suddenly decide to drop by? Interesting things. What might Kaveh find interesting? Tighnari's tail getting so fluffed up like a ball of tumbleweed? Or Cyno climbing a tree and getting his hood caught on a branch? More significant! Now that you mention it, it must be what I think it is. Recently, rumors have been going around about a certain book. It's called Reasoning Knows Not Time of Day, but suspense always follows a blizzard. Tell me about it. Anyway, read it at your own risk. It truly is unbearably boring.
Traveler, hi, Mon. It's been so long. I'm still a bit tired. I was reading a novel, so I stayed up late. Huh? No. If you're talking about reasoning knows not time of day, but suspense always follows, Oh, right. Yes. No, it wasn't that one. Madame Faruzan said it was a really dull, so I didn't borrow it. I haven't been able to keep up with my own work, even though I'm up late all the time these days. But way more people have been interested in the book than I ever imagined. 7 or 8 in a single morning. I feel like a living signboard sitting here like this. Kaveh asked me the same question, so he must be looking for it too. He was even hiding behind a ladder before looking for something. He looked really embarrassed. I didn't get it anyway, but if you say so, it's a dream. Okay, see you next time.
I heard you. How's it going, family? You guys should look excited. Hi, that one. Yes, I did go to the house again to borrow it. Kaveh said it wasn't worth reading, but I was curious, so I went and read it anyway. The problem was, there were already 2 names circled in the book I borrowed. Each circle style was different. It was like some kind of game. Someone had drawn a red circle around the name of the first character that appeared, and someone else drawn a green circle around another. That's right. Yes, no surprise there. If you stop to think about it for but a second, guessing the identity of the segment annotator should be trivial. If there are 2 people living in the house and one of them drew the first circle, It is highly likely that the other person left a mark too. Sometimes those two are really too much. In the end, it is as I suspected from the beginning. The first character whose name had been circled on the very first page turned out to be the murderer. Surely, that's just a blatant spoiler, like that joke where someone opens a novel and bam, there's a note in the margin that spoils everything right from the start. Cyrus said that Master once threatened to give him a good beating by the side of the entrance of the House of Dana. It was only thanks to my mother and Professor Zahahadi intervening that it didn't happen. There must have been others who borrowed it and did something similar. I'm just not sure why.
So, I need to reflect a little on what I did.
To meet you here today is surely due to the guidance of the gods. Today's trip to the city is to buy provisions for the people of Aru village, as well as help Miss Sitaria deliver a message to the sages of the academia while I'm here. On the way, I happened to see Dehya sitting in the cafe looking down, so I came over to chat with her.
Don't worry, it's nothing serious. It's just that I suddenly remembered a few details about that book after talking with you. Before that client had even contacted me, I heard rumors of an exciting novel full of undiscovered secrets. Out of curiosity, I asked Cyno to take it out for me. As a desert dweller and a mercenary to boot, the idea of solving a mysterious treasure map is pretty exciting.
We inherited our custom of searching for the gold and wisdom in the sands from the gods themselves.
But that book turned out to be as dry as dust. A bunch of names had been circled, but I still couldn't figure out what the puzzle was supposed to be, despite reading the whole thing carefully from start to finish. In the end, I started to think it was some kind of ritual or game or something. So I picked up a pen and drew a circle on my own. But later on, Miss Dinyarz had asked her parents to find a way to borrow it for her. She said the mysterious markings fascinated her, even though she couldn't get into the book itself. If they were just regular annotations, it wouldn't be anything out of the ordinary. But these strange circles, you can't help but want to try and figure out what they might mean.
That's true. So, Dehya, what you're reflecting on is having accidentally interfered with other people's reading experiences. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm. She's a warrior, you know. Sometimes she has to interrogate criminals and other things like that too. Everyone recognizes that her job is scared, so when we need to think over what we've gone wrong, we'll talk to her about it.
Please, don't be surprised, my dear traveler. To me, listening to other people's mistakes is just another way of protecting them. By speaking of your own mistakes and hearing sincere advice in return, improvement will come over time. That's the way we do things.
That's true. I was just telling Cadence how bizarre it is.
Be as it may, it doesn't change the fact that it just doesn't sit right to mess with someone else's enjoyment of a book. That's the bottom line. Anyways, Dehya, please have faith that the gods will forgive her transgression.
Hey, what do you mean by entrapment? You were the one who had the book. I said I wanted to read it. Then you agreed to meet me here. Cyno showing up too was just a coincidence. Pure coincidence. Huh? So you do know who I am? You didn't have to mention that.
No, I think Dory's right about that. You always look for a way out when it comes to playing Invocation. It's becoming quite the problem. That would only be the case had you not engaged in any irregular activities. Yet just now, a buyer, Sethos, came to the palace of Alcazazare on the basis of a mysterious message to meet a seller, hoping in vain to purchase a detective novel. That is not something I can acknowledge. What I can tell you is that I've had my eyes on this book for some time. Remember, it is forbidden to transfer or sell books from the House of Dehya without explicit approval from the relevant authorities. Is that so? And here I was thinking you were going to go through with an illegal transaction like this, Sethos.
I was just really curious about the book. I finally managed to track it down. But, Cyno, it's true that Dori never actually said she wanted to sell the book.
So she isn't the mastermind who started all this? You may think you've played an ace, Dori, but when you opened the book just now, I saw the truth revealed before me. The book's return date is today. That's right. I have good vision. You have less than half an hour before the book is overdue. Give it to me, and I will return it.
Should you really be admitting that out loud? Then how about this? Dori, Cyno, why don't you play a little game with the book as the stakes?
That's one way to solve it. How about it, Dori? Do you dare accept the challenge? If you win, I will turn a blind eye to the book for the time being, and if you lose, you have to hand it over.
Are both of you confident in your powers of mental recall?
Yes,
And you both have read the contents of this book, right?
that's right.
In that case, I'll just open up the book and flip through a few pages, and you tell me how many names have been circled. Best out of 3 wins. Sounds good?
What? Chickening out?
I heard there was treasure hidden inside, and though it might have to do something with the temple, I never thought there was a real story behind it. But when you agreed to complete, I had already surmised you were familiar with this book. That's why I chose the particular format.
Brilliant move, bro.
Ah, Alhaitham, you're here. I was looking everywhere for you.
What is it?
Guess what I've got in this little bag here?
If I had to guess, a young man's tears of regret.
And what would you know? Its reasoning knows not time of day, but suspense always follows a blizzard.
You actually bothered to memorize a ridiculous and boring name like that?
That's just because I was filling out the paperwork to buy it back at the Academia's office. I had to write it over and over.
Then it looks like this book has a new owner.
Only because I subconsciously marked up the book with ink. Did you know that Tighnari, Dehya, and Cyno all circled the names in the book? And it all started because the name I circled was the real killer.
To be perfectly honest, the moment I first saw the murderer's name circled, I knew this would happen.
Wait a second. How come? You've read the book too?
I had the pleasure of reading this in the House of Dehya. The logic is a mess, it was just poorly written, and you left the book out in the study.
So you knew I circled the killer. Then did you circle any names in the book?
What do you think?
So you did.
The second one is mine.
Why?
The best way to avoid spoilers is to add a red herring.
Then why just one? Tighnari circled 3.
I already significantly reduced the probability of the murderer's identity being spoiled for the next reader. That is more than enough. No need to worry about things that are beyond saving. Using permanent ink to circle a name on the first page, that's obviously beyond saving.
What kind of logic is that? I bet you drew your circle for fun.
If I must say so, then it's because the circling of the name is far more interesting than the book itself.
Fair point. In the end, I only have myself to blame for using up all my pencils. I need to go buy some more.
Congratulations, this is one of a kind out-of-print book. Personally, by the hands of so many, now it's yours.
Do you think I look happy about it? I don't even want it.